All right. Um, okay, so here we are at 7:30. I'm trying to keep again. I was talking about this before. I'm trying to keep a kind of a consistent schedule. I am wanting to do more videos. I'm going to include something in the video I had planned on trying to do last week, but um, didn't get that. Anyway, let's see. People messaging me. They don't know that I'm on live. Let's see. I'll just while we're waiting for a moment for people to let's tell them. We'll get back to them. Back to you. Okay. All right. I'll get moving here. Okay, so guys, this video is mostly about updates to the show schedule. You'll notice that I got a couple new shows that I added in the last couple days. Um, One is pretty unexpected. That is the Ocala show. We would have had a Daytona event, and then we also would have had our October 12th event, um, which is going to be technically November 9th. Oh, the other show that we would have normally had in a normal year is the Coco show, like around the 23rd. I'm going to be part of Free Play Florida this year. So actually, I should have had a tab for that, but I'll talk about that next week. Maybe have Brian on, Brian Jones, who is the main contact point of that. If you guys don't know about Free Play Florida, I'll go into that maybe next week. But basically, I'm going to be part of Free Play Florida this year. We're going to have a booth of some kind. I'm going to bring some arcade my arcade games, maybe a pin or two. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm bringing, but that is not my show. I'm just instead of doing the Coco show, I'm doing free play. I'm bringing games and making a weekend. Hey, how are you, man? Tony and the Shellhead Toy guys. I assume you're doing your live here later about toys, which is cool. Something that toy wise that I'm gonna. Hello, Laura. How are you? And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the HasLab that just came out, the Tron HasLab. I might have to go get a prop though. Okay. So again, most of this is going to be about upcoming events. You know that we have our Port St. Lucie show. For those that is sold out for vendors. I don't have any space. I mean, I might be able to fit somebody against the wall, but that's going to be about it. Port St. Lucie is on the 26th, which is another week and a half away. We're going to have some really cool stuff. Our friend Mr. McDermott is going to be bringing out a bunch of monster stuff that was maybe, either I forgot all the information. Maybe I can get him to come on next week and talk about some of these items. He's going to be bringing a statue for photos of the creature Black Lagoon, I think, and maybe some other things. But this is just one picture that he sent me of his table. So he'll be at the Port St. Lucie. So I'm going to be hitting up vendors, on that for photos. So I should be posting photos, a bunch of photos, either later this week or, for sure after the weekend. I'll be hitting everybody hard with photos, samples. I mean, we had the show, last May, and we're going to have a bunch of those people back. Not everybody, though. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of new vendors that are coming in, and we're going to have different stuff. The other thing, again, that's the Port St. Lucie in less than 2 weeks. Okay, we're down there at the Polish American Club. It's a pretty nice building. I mean, you got like 2 rooms. It's a little different than the one in West Palm. And oh, cool, yeah. I'd like to know when we get to the Tron thing that what your opinion is on the pricing on that. I'm going to talk about that. Okay. Okay. The next thing is obviously the next show after that is our Florida Extravaganza, which this is our 6th annual show in the fall in Tampa. We've been running this since 2020, since COVID. Okay. So when nobody was running shows, we were running a show and we were able to move. This is how we got to the fairgrounds. Okay. We were able to move our show from a hotel that all the space was sold out. We moved it to the fairgrounds in November of 2020. And we've been running shows there ever since then. Okay. The out of the 3, I would say this one is big as far as overall attendance and stuff like that, but it is still a pretty good show. I'm going to be setting up myself at the Tampa show. You'll see I got some boxes back here. My room is looking a little rough. My wife took son home. So okay. So it's looking a little rough because I'm going to be organizing here to get some of the stuff out of bring some stuff to sell and stuff that I don't do at all. I don't do this, guys. So I'm not a seller. I'm going to tell you now that I'm a crappy vendor. I'm not a very good vendor. I think I understand how to be a great vendor, but I'm just with my own stuff. I'm not that great. If you want to get deals, come and see me. Okay. Because I'm not about, my reasons to sell are different than most vendors. I'm also hoping I don't take away vendor sales, but I am going to be setting up in Tampa, November 1st and 2nd. I'm going to have my own booth there when you come in. And I'm not really sure all what I'm going to sell, but I have too much stuff. I now have 3 storage units of things, just show stuff. I've got, all my statues now. We've got, and then the bat pod and all of these things. And then I've got, stuff in my garage and everything. So like, I'm going to bring out some stuff. Okay. Some stuff is going to be really super cool and other stuff will just be, I just bought it on a whim, I guess. I don't know, but you'll see, but it'll all be great priced. Okay. And I'll be there to answer any of your questions and all that. So let me go over some comments here. And again, that is at Tampa. So we're going to have Port St. Lucie, then November 1st and 2nd. We'll have Tampa, the Tampa show. Sorry, let me leave that up. Okay. We may or may not have guests. I don't have anybody right now, but I did have somebody call me today. So if they're available, maybe I'll book them. I'm working on other shows right now. Let me go ahead and go back over some. Yeah. Oh, you have dolls. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Message me and we'll see what we can come up with. Okay. But it's a whatever. I may have a spot, but it's not the best in the world. It's kind of like you got to sit on the side of your table there. Okay. Great. Great, Jonathan. Thanks for talking about Tampa. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. I'm going to be bringing, I think I'm going to bring some, let's see, I'm just looking at it now. I'm going to be bringing some, I think, graded Star Trek. I'm going to be bringing some of the cards that I have behind me. Let's see. So I've got some of those cards. I'm going to be bringing those. I've got some signed statues down there. I think I'll bring those, and I'm going to bring some video game stuff. I'm going to be bringing some, I don't know what all I'm going to bring. I have to figure it out, but I've got some G.I. Joe stuff. I got a Terradrome. I have 2 Terradromes right now. I need to get rid of one. I got stuff. All right. John and I are Bowling Green. Oh, okay. Wow. All right, cool. Well, hopefully you guys will be back soon, and hopefully we hear, hopefully everything's good there with Margaret and all you guys. Okay. So just message me on the page here. Awesome. Mark Moriarty is returning to Tampa. I got people messaging me still on the messenger. Okay, cool, awesome. And Mark is he'll be bringing stuff. We had somebody talk about Star Trek stuff the other day, Star Trek toys, and so I believe he still has some of those. So hopefully Mark will bring those, and the person and Jose will be there in Tampa, and cool. All right, now so Shellhead was talking about graded. I'll be bringing some graded. Kaz will be, I'm told, will be at the show in Tampa. Okay. Again, we're talking about Tampa right now. We do have Port St. Lucie before that, but okay. And thank you, Jose. Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's very heavy. Okay, I got this from Mikado. It goes with the poison ivy statue next to it, which he kind of wants back, but we'll see. Yeah, this Bane is pretty cool, but it's heavy. It's heavy. Almost in the box is here, and almost dropped the thing. So coming to breaking it out of my Hummer. All right, cool. Yeah, Mark always gives us something to buy. Well, I'm going to give you something to buy this time. No, I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. All right. Okay, let me talk about the schedule. So those are the two shows we've got in the next couple of weeks. This is the updated schedule. This is literally like minutes old. Okay, I'll probably post this, and this is pretty solid. All right, I'm, part of the reason why you're not seeing all these images, of people's stuff and everything is because I'm working on what I'm working on is these shows. I need to post the Santa Super Gift Show. I do have that. We are going to have Scott Schwartz on Sunday. I'm working on a Christmas type guest for Saturday. There at the Santa's Super Gift Show. Okay, that's going to be at RP Funding. I just need to do a couple more things, and I'll be posting that probably tomorrow. Also going to be posting the Fort Myers show. That's and then I got to circle back to Daytona, but basically this is our updated list. Zeta, I'm gonna probably have Star Wars in May. I'm thinking. I don't know yet, but I'm working on figuring that out. Okay. Famous Davis Showdown and gift grab. Okay. Santa Showdown. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, all right. So we got Port St. Lucie again here in a couple of weeks, in the next almost 2 weeks. Then we've got the extravaganza here, and I'm leaving that name because basically that's what we called it right when we started, which was actually 6 years ago. I think yesterday was that show, and that was the show, guys. Like, I just want to talk about this show. So 6 years ago was my second toy show. Okay. And what happened was, and this is just the stuff that happens at the shows. Okay. Now this has never happened again. Okay. But I'm going to tell you a quick story about what happened at that show. Shout out to Michelle Reed and Daryl Gunter, and Joey was there. I think Johnny Fletcher was there. And I think those are the only people I can think of that I know were there that are still. Margaret was there. Okay, Margaret was there. But anyway, so the night before at the hotel, this is the hotel. It's changed its name. It used to be Quality Inn. I think it was called Quality Inn. But anyway, it's near USF anyway, it's over by Busch Gardens. Fowler. Okay, so the night before, there was the guy that was setting up, and there was this party, and this women's party or whatever, and this setup guy kept going over there and trying to hook up with the party people, I think. Anyway, so I left there around 11 o'clock. I said, hey, this isn't set up yet. Like, I need to make sure that this is set up before I go home. This was like, I already knew from working in banquets when I was in my early 20s that, you got to have, these things take time to set up tables and everything. And anyway, so anyway, we get there in the morning and he's not there. And then he took the key to the tables aren't set up. So we're missing tables. And this is only my second show. And the guy left with the only key and he went all the way to Plant City. Okay. So now I got vendors going, where's my table? Where's my table? Luckily, I had some great vendors even then. And some of the people were really cool. They're like, we'll just deal with it. We'll figure it out. Okay. I mean, I did have a couple of people that were just ridiculous at that time. And they were really upset about the table, which I couldn't do anything about. I didn't have the key. So I was out there, going and grabbing tables, whatever I could, but basically the closet with the tables was locked. And I just remember I think we got the tables about maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes before the show opened that day. And wow. And I remember we had the G.I. Joe guys there. And again, there was none of the shows this is before COVID, and there was none of the shows really that are happening now beyond what I'm doing. There was the Comic-Con certainly, but not all the events that are going on now, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just amazing how things have changed in the 6 years that we've been doing these shows. And it has been 6 years since we started. I just remember, yeah. So, and I started all this to buy toys, and it's now turned into a great business. And I appreciate everybody coming out, and all the vendors and all the customers coming out to each show. I know we're doing what seems like a lot now, but I'm trying to stay busy and keep vendors busy and all that. So let's go ahead and move on. And Zeta, I don't know where Santa is. He's not here. He'll be at the show though. Oh, you were there for that? Oh, you might have been. Okay, yeah. I think the Pony Lady was there too. That was the one and only show I've seen her at, or she's done. Okay, anyway. So all right. So after the extravaganza, we are gonna be in Lake Worth. And that is, I mean, I think I'm gonna I'll have a couple tables that I'll be giving out. But basically it was full even before I posted it. But I think there's a couple people that I'll be able to fill in. And then Ocala, which is completely new. I just thought, hey, we're not doing Cocoa. We didn't do Daytona, so I would go ahead and fill that in. Okay. The following weekend, I'm at Free Play, Florida. And then we're going to have a show, the Santa Show. Okay, let's go on to 26. This one I posted today, which is Coral Springs Collector Fest, which I've had a bunch of applications already on that. So if you want in, this is this is the time to do it, especially to get the right tables. But anyway, the reason why this says January 4th, normally we would have a show on the 11th at the Lake Worth area, Polish Club. Normally that would be the day that we would do that. But because we're already there on November, because we got pushed, I just felt it was kind of a short time here because we're going to be back there in March. So I just filled in Coral Springs. That was a great building, great space, great show. So I went ahead and booked this space for Coral Springs. And then after that, we'll be in Fort Myers for one day at the Calusa Sound. We're going to be in our original space, I believe, that we were in September. And we're not going to be in the one with all the, I'm going to say with all the doors. There's a little less doors on this one. So we're not going to be in the space where you first come in, but we'll be in an original spot that we had. And then I got to go back and work on finalize Daytona for this date. There is a card show now that is booked in the bigger space that I didn't want. I didn't want the big space, guys. It's just too big for my show. I don't like it. you know, I want a big building someday, but I don't want it to be like ridiculous looking. You know, I know what we bring. I know what, you know, we always want bigger, but you know, bigger only creates part of the problem with bigger is you get a lot of duplication now with stuff, and there just is too many shows right now to get enough individual good vendors, you know, on a weekend, because every weekend is basically covered with probably more than one show now. So just us being able to get people and get vendors is pretty awesome. All right, and then but I believe the other show that's in Daytona is a pretty much a strictly card show. Then we're going to be in this is our normal weekend here at Space Coast. I can post that anytime. That's contracts that's in and all that. Sarasota, they are going to be closing the building. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with one day, but not 100%. I may check in with a couple people just because of the show schedule we got right after that. Normally we would do Sarasota for 2 days, but all these other dates are pretty well in well, the Tampa Collector Fest that's a done deal. Orlando Collector Fest, that would normally be that's the week before MegaCon, and that would normally be Kissimmee show, but we're not doing Osceola Heritage because they booked our space basically for the weekend that we normally do it. So right now I have a quote from the tree, what DoubleTree. I have DoubleTree Hilton, I think, over there over by SeaWorld. So I'm trying to decide if I'll probably ask some of you vendors that do Orlando. I'll probably ask if you guys want to try a 2-day, just because we did do that for Con Misfits. I could rename this Con Misfits, but we don't do a lot of 2-day shows in Orlando, and I think it would be kind of neat to try that over there at the DoubleTree. And so I call it beating them up a little bit on the price there, but that's where that would be at. And then we'll be in Tampa, and then after that, I still got to work on finalizing things, and that's where a Star Wars show would come in. And I think we're gonna go back to, maybe depending on how Port St. Lucie goes, maybe we'll come back there. But and then in June, I have Ocala again in June. That's not on here. June 14th. I'd like to have a regular Orlando show maybe in June there, but I don't have that really finalized yet, because you know I've gotten management has changed at Avanti, and so lady hasn't gotten back to me on that. Okay, and then I think July will be in Coral Springs in July. Right now I don't have that on this list. And then we'll be in Tampa, and Lakeland is all in July. And then August, I don't have anything right now. And then September, I'm working on Lake Worth and stuff. Okay. So we're going to be pretty full. We're going to be busy. The goal is to stay busy. We're going to try to expand this year. I got a little test of our team coming up. Hopefully Sean and Jeff and TK, they all, well, TK doesn't know a lot about this, but he will maybe. Okay. Although he's probably busy out in the middle of the country somewhere right now. So, okay, cool. All right. Thanks, Andy, for noting that. Yeah, we're trying to stay busy, man. We're out here to, help vendors, have a great time. All right. The last thing that I guess I want to real quick talk about that's kind of has gotten a lot of press in the toy space anyway, in my book, okay, is last week Tron Ares came out. You got, I would say online, most people are bashing it. I did go and see it. I'm not going to talk a lot about the movie. I'm going to talk more about the toy HasLab thing here. And then I'm probably going to do a whole video on this, but I just want to talk about this and how, this only has 900 backers right now, but and people are pretty, they're talking about this $260 price point. And if you're a vendor or you're a buyer of toys at our show, if you buy anything modern, you would know that this actually isn't crazy money for this, okay? Because you got 5 figures. I'm told these are like vintage collection size or style or whatever. And so maybe those would be like $20, $25. So you've got, $100 there. But I will say that they've never done any of the light cycles like this. I'm a big Tron collector. This is really just discussion about price and what is offered here. I don't really care about these characters though, because I feel like they could have done a better job on the characters. And I just wish they would come up with something new, like the tank or, some other scene, right? But these light cycles, you can actually put the figures in them. You can see them. The old school ones that I have, you can't do that. And then they have the ones at Disney. Okay, those are going for $75 with a figure for one. Okay, and then you got this light up base. So I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably going to do like a little discussion video. My hope is to maybe later in the week do that. I might get Damien over here to help me do a video about Tron toys. Most people probably don't care, and I don't even know why they did a freaking HasLab for this thing. They should have just put it out there for sale. In my opinion, but I'll probably back it. Maybe I'll get 2, just because the light up base and everything and stuff. But anyway, I just don't think everybody's complaining about the price, and I just think like when you add it up, it's okay. I mean, it is a big price. I'm like, man, but for someone that actually buys Tron stuff, it's really not that much. But anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be sending some people. Let me know if you want a schedule. I'll be posting this on our page. And maybe I may wait till tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it tonight, but I'll send some schedules out to people. And basically, I do have space at the Tampa show, Florida Extravaganza. I am out of walls, I think now, walls and corners. I might have one wall. I don't know. I actually think I am out of walls, but I do have a bunch of aisles left. So if you want if you want to join us, you can do that. And then after that, I believe South Florida is sold out. Ocala, we have a few tables. Even though I just posted it yesterday, I think we're down to about 50%. So definitely, if you're interested in a vendor, get in on that while you can. And I do think that that's going to be a good show. It was a good show in July, and I thought, hey, let's go ahead and come back there. It's an easy in and out, type of show. The building was nice. The people were nice. It's not as big as I would like, but it's big enough for the amount of people I think that come. So that's what matters. So all right, go ahead, Jonathan. What I'll do is I'll send you a link to that, okay? And I'll put you down. I'll save you a table. All right, thanks a lot, guys, for stopping in and watching. I know this wasn't maybe one of the more entertaining ones, but I appreciate you being here, and we'll be back next Tuesday at 7:30, or maybe before. Thanks again, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.